Hi everyone, today I'm just going to be doing my everyday makeup routine for oily to combination skin. So I've pinned back my greasy ass hair, so let's just get right into it. Firstly, I do moisturise just with my everyday moisturiser. I don't use anything different when I do my makeup. I just use the Epiderm cream. That is really gross. Sorry about that. Wipes on my desk. I just use the Epiderm face cream, just like normal. After I've moisturised, I don't let it sit or anything greedy, I just go straight in with primer. I usually don't use a primer, but I've been trying different ones recently. And this one is quite good. It is the Beauty Crop Gripping Primer. This is apparently the XXL one though. If that's XXL, what's the normal one like? I just rub this in like a moisturiser. After I've primed, I have been loving this Lumi Glotion from L'Oreal. I do find that less is more with this because if you put a lot on then you usually get like quite streaky marks, but I stole this off my sister and ever since I have been really liking it. This is perfect for like those sort of no makeup days as well. Because I just feel like if you just put a little bit of this on and then maybe like mascara or a lip product, then I think I've put a little bit too much on after saying less is more. After that I go in with a concealer. This is just the Maybelline Anti-Age Eraser Multi-Use Concealer. This is just a drugstore concealer that I really love. I've been using this, I think, since I started doing makeup when I was 15. This is just in shade 1. With my concealer, I usually just go around my nose because I get quite a bit of redness there. I do my chin and then I do any blemishes. I don't know why, I always just get matching spots on either sides of my cheek here. I get 2 of them and I don't know what that's from, but I struggle with acne quite a bit and I feel like that's like a product of my oily skin. After I've applied my concealer just to any blemishes, redness, and then I also like to just do my chin and my forehead just to sort of even out my skin tone. I go in with this like sort of angled, smaller, fluffy brush from, this is from Technique. I'm pretty sure this was very cheap. I just sort of tap this in for, oh my god, why are my boobs out? I feel like this gives me like better coverage than a beauty blender, especially when I'm trying to cover blemishes and redness. But yeah, I'm like trying to, I don't want flashes. So sorry if you see it city. After I've done it with the brush, I do just go over lightly with a damp beauty blender just to make sure there's no like oversaturated parts on my face and just to make sure it's all even. After concealer, I go in with my cream products. I am using the Be Perfect. I've been using this for a while, so it's all rubbed off the lid, but I'm pretty sure this product's called a bronzer, like a cream bronzer, which I quite like. This is the shade Swarthy. And I just sort of apply this to all of the points of my face that the sun would usually hit and sort of make them tan. So I apply this just on my forehead. And I'm using, and then I go in with the Expert Face Brush from Real Techniques. It's sort of the same as their flat contour, but this is fluffier, so I don't really like working with this one because I feel like you have to be more specific with your placement, but I sort of just like to get it on there. I feel this one does work better for your cheeks, but yeah, I just alternate between the two. For my cream bronzer, I do alternate between these two brushes. This is the Expert Face Brush by Real Techniques. The number on this is 200, and then the Real Techniques flat contour brush, this is 258. Using my fluffier brush of the two, this one is the Expert Face brush. The fluffier one, I do my forehead, and I just sort of tap it in like that. I don't like to drag, I feel like it gives me like a streaky sort of look. And I also do these 2 points of my chin, just so it doesn't look too harsh. That's why I quite like this brush. And my jawline, making sure to blend it down because we don't want no slag lines around here. I just feel like that makes my chin look pointier. Then I just go in with the Real Techniques flat contour brush and I do my cheeks with this. I like this one because I like to be more specific with the placement of my cheek bronzer. And then whatever is left on the brush, I tap into my eyes because I don't like to use eyeshadow. I just feel like I'm not good at it, and I've got very hooded eyes anyway, so it'd probably be a waste of time. And then I just get a tiny little bit on the brush and I just bronze up that nose. After my bronzer, I then go in with the Charlotte Tilbury Glowgasm Beauty Light Wand, and I'll literally just go on the high points of my cheeks with this, and then I blend a little bit into the bronzer that I put on my eyes, and I also do a little bit on the bridge of my nose. Oh, that wasn't a little bit. I blend that in using the Sephora blush brush, and again I just tap that in. When it comes to the blush on my nose, I try not to like move that around at all, because I feel like a very particular placing with that can either make your nose look wider or smaller. After that, I just go in with the H&B Airbrush Concealer in the shade SF 1.5W and the Maybelline New York Instant Anti-Age Eraser in shade 00. I just place this on my inner corners of my eyes, my forehead and my chin, and I blend this in with the same concealer brush as earlier, just that angled Technique brush. I just use tapping motions. I feel like this gets the best coverage. With this, I like to drag it out upwards to give myself sort of a lifted look. I'm not sure if that looks any different. As I said, this is not a tutorial. And then I just sort of brush that upwards. And then I like to sort of carve out my nose with this as well. And just tap that in. After I've blended that with my brush, I then go in again with my Dampy Beauty Blender, just to make sure that is sort of all blended nicely into place. I just go over everything that I've done, just to make sure there's no harsh lines or anything. After I've blended all that out, I just go in with the Huda Beauty Easy Bake setting powder. I apply this mostly everywhere, mainly in my T-zone, because as I said, I do have oily skin. I use I forgot what this powder puff is called, but I really don't think what powder puff you use is important, like, at all. I just think you can use, you know those Amazon ones that come in like a 10 pack? I feel like they work just as well as any other powder puff does. So I get a bit of powder on my powder puff and I just tap it onto the back of my hand just so that there's no clumps in it, and then it's nice and even. Firstly, I go onto my under eyes because that's where I want the heaviest sort of coverage to prevent creasing, and I look up whilst doing it so that my under eyes aren't creasing. I go over any blemishes just to make sure that that's all smoothed into place. I just feel like it gives an extra layer over the concealer. I also do my forehead because I get quite oily there. Only the sort of centre of my forehead, I don't really do anywhere else. Then I'll go around my nose, and then whatever is left on the puff, I will just do everywhere else, but it's practically nothing. Then I gather whatever is left on my hand and just go over my nose, because I do like a little bit of a shinier look on my nose, but not anything crazy. After powder, I will go in with my powder bronzer, my holy grail. Love this. This is the Milani blusher. I've got a new one here. That's how much it's been used. This is the Milani Baked Bronzer in the shade 5 Soleil. Soleil, I'm pretty sure that's how it's pronounced. And I just go in with the Spectrum brush. This is AO5. I just go in the same places where I put my cream bronzer. Just sort of make sure I lock all of my cream products in with my powder products. It's not really to do much, it's just sort of to add the colour back in after powdering. Then I go in with the Pretty Fly blush by Doll Beauty, and as you can see, she's very well loved. Love this blusher. I don't think this has a shade on it. Maybe this is the only shade that they made. But yeah, she's very well loved. And I use the Real Techniques blush brush, and this is number 400. And I just go in on the high points of my cheeks. Again, across my eyes and over my nose. I also really like powder products that have the, like, a bit of shine in them. I'm not sure if you can really see, but they've sort of got like highlighted bits in them. Because obviously I have oily skin, I can powder my face and then go in with the glowy sort of products to still get that glowy look without having an oily face. Next, I will do my eyebrows. I don't do much for my eyebrows because I do tint them, and I use a face razor to neaten them up. Like once a week, I keep on top of my eyebrows. I usually just use the Got2b eyebrow and lash gel. I think this is like £5. I just brushed them up ever so slightly. I feel like if you use a lot of this product, it sort of gathers at the top and it can take off the makeup that you've put underneath. If I haven't tinted them in a while, I just use the Maybelline Express Brow eyebrow pencil in the shade Deep 05 Deep Brown, sorry. After that, I will go in with lips, and I do, this is the Rimmel London Lasting Finish lip liner. This is in the shade Wine. This is what it looks like. I think it looks a bit crazy right now. So I'm just gonna take a bit of that off. Like I said, not a makeup tutorial. Then lastly, my eyelashes. I take my eyelashes very seriously. We run a tight ship around here. It is like a military boot camp when it comes to my eyelashes. I've tried every mascara under the sun. This is my top 3. So I just use the Wet n Wild eyelash curler. I bought this because it was the cheapest one. I really don't think eyelash curlers matter. It's sort of one of them tools, sort of like a powder puff that I just couldn't really care for. So after I've curled my eyelashes, I just go in with the This is the Clarins Paris Mascara Super Volume. This is shade 1 Intense Black. And I just do a very light sort of, just making sure they're all covered. So that's my first layer of mascara. And then I'll let that set and do the other eye. After that has set, I then go in with the Urban Decay Perversion Bigger, Blacker, Badder Mascara. I like this applicator, it's a bit thicker. Then that is my second layer. And then I don't wait for this one to dry and I go straight in with the Prada Sculpt Mascara. This is in the shade number 1 Nero. And I just sort of tap the ends with that one. Like, I don't do a full, like, swoop. So that is my everyday makeup routine. Thank you so much for watching. This is it in my mirror lighting. I did get a bit of mascara on my nose, so please just ignore that. I need to wait for it to dry to wipe it off. This is it in my mirror lighting. This is it in natural daylight lighting. So that has been my everyday makeup routine with oily and combination skin. Thank you so much for watching. This is the finished look. And please like and subscribe, it really helps out my channel, and leave a comment with any other video ideas that you would like to see from me. So yeah, thank you. Bye.